What's up YouTube? This is Buckshot33 aka Boston Chris, and I'm back with a new video. So, went to my local shop today, and of course, this is the day that pretty much all comic fans look forward to. It's Free Comic Book Day. Well, was Free Comic Book Day. Right now it's Saturday night. Went ahead and spent most of the day out doing a lot of different things, including seeing Guardians of the Galaxy, which is, I'll give my opinion on it later. Spoiler free, obviously, just because the movie is only 24 hours old. But back to Free Comic Book Day. So, the really cool and fun part about Free Comic Book Day is that it's a day that you can get to go to your shop. Sometimes they're having some sales. Sometimes they bring in artists. They bring in local people. Sometimes even established people to go ahead and just draw up some new business and get more interest in the store. I went to one of my local shops. Usually I like to go to maybe like 2 or 3 just to see what's going on, see who's got different things happening. But like I said, I had some things to do today, so I wasn't able to get to multiple shops. But I did get to one, and I picked up a bunch of different stuff. So I will go ahead and show that off. Hopefully you guys all like it. So I'm going to start off with my regular haul itself. The cool part too about today, I think in the shop we had an established artist who was, I can't remember the name. But I think he works on, I think he's the artist, maybe the cover artist or just the artist itself for the book Archangel. I don't know if you guys have read too much about it. I have, I think, the first 2 issues. I didn't stick with it. I mean, it looked like a pretty cool book, but I just didn't stick with it all the way through. But, pretty cool to have somebody who's just, industry insider, at my local shop. But, anyway, moving on to the books that I picked up for today. So, first and foremost, we have Secret Empire, #1. I haven't read through this. I read the first one. I read issue 0. But I haven't read anything else. I haven't gotten into this yet. I picked up this cover just because they had the Todd Knock, like the party variant, and it was so this has a lot of stuff going on. It's a really busy cover. There's a lot going on, but the Todd Knock one had even more going on, and all the characters were really small. So I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna go ahead and get that variant. I'm just gonna stick with the regular cover for this one. The cover I was hoping to get was a Scotty Young variant, just because I'm a big Scotty Young fan. I love his style. And I liked the image. It was, Captain America, kind of with a little like Stanley Whiplash like mustache, that like twirly one, tied up on the train tracks, and then Miss Marvel just smiling over. Captain Marvel's smiling over him. So I was hoping to get that one, but they didn't have it. So, it's okay. Next up, we have Old God #3. This is a book I didn't pick up a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to go ahead and make sure that I could get it, so now I have it. Really, really cool story. Definitely a little bit different telling of what's going on as far as just you have these immortals that are kind of working as kind of like just this I don't want to say assassins, but they just kind of like special forces that kind of go in and take on different special missions and stuff. But then they kind of find out they're being scammed by the people that hired them. So it's a pretty interesting read. Definitely something that I think that you could check out if if it doesn't sound like a cup of tea. Wait for the trade and then pick up the whole story at once. But I like it, so that's why I picked it up. Next we have a book that people were kind of speculating on, saying it's going to be people have been talking about it and this and that. If you watch the JLS live show on Tuesdays, he actually was, making a case for this book. So I picked it up for 2 reasons. First, just because of speculation behind it. I'm not saying it's going to end up being something big. You never know. But the other reason is because of the cover, and that is Pestilence #1. This cover is done by actually one of my favorite cover artists and a really, really awesome guy. I've met him, I think, twice at Comic-Con. Had really, great conversation with him. Super nice guy. His name is Tim Bradstreet. He's done a lot of different work in comics. Most notably, at least for me, is the Punisher series. So the Welcome Back Frank series, and then the ongoing series after that. He did all the covers for that, and I mean, he's just an amazing, amazing artist. Super nice guy. So I just wanted to pick this up because love his art. Really, really detailed stuff. What I can say about this book, I haven't read through all of it. I started to read it. Definitely for mature readers. So, Just one thing to keep in mind. Definitely for mature readers, not for kids whatsoever. All right, next up we have an ongoing series that I'm a big fan of, and I've been a big fan since the beginning, and that is Green Lanterns number 22. This is a really, really cool series following two new Lanterns, Simon Baz and Jesse Cruz, who, are kind of, I guess, getting used to being Lanterns. They're flawed heroes because they're brand new to it. They have some confidence issues as far as, what the right thing is to do. They get starstruck by seeing other heroes such as like Batman. I do know that I think Kyle Rayner appears in this one, and they kind of get awestruck by him being kind of a more senior Lantern than them. Just a really cool story, just because it's fun to see a hero's journey from the very beginning to when they actually kind of blossom and become the hero that they're meant to be. So I feel like this is a pretty cool jumping on point. If you are a fan of Green Lantern and want to see a couple of new heroes kind of take their steps into becoming who they are meant to be, taking their steps towards greatness, if you will. So really cool series. And the last book that I picked up today was Injustice #1, or Injustice 2 #1. I kind of missed the boat on the first Injustice. I dismissed it off as just, it's a book to kind of accompany a comic book that accompanies a video game. It's probably not going to be that good. Little did I know, it would end up actually being pretty good from what people have told me. So I figured I'd just jump on with this and keep it going. The video game looks like it's going to be awesome, and so I'm not quite sure what the story is going to be, particularly if it's going to line up, exactly as the game goes. But judging by how good the first one was, at least what I was told, I figured I'd give this one a chance. So really happy about those books. There's only one book that I wish I would have been able to pick up, but I wasn't able to, and that is Flash #22 because of the Button storyline. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do is try to see if maybe a different local shop maybe has a couple. We'll see. But I definitely want to continue that storyline because it ties in with the Watchmen. Or at least that's what they've been teasing, that it ties in with the Watchmen. So I'm looking forward to that, and so I'll be hopefully picking that up next week. Next week. So next up, got a bunch of books for Free Comic Book Day. So I will start off with the actual books that came as a part of Free Comic Book Day, and then show you the books that ended up being free, because they're just back issues that my store wanted to go ahead and kind of keep, they just had extra copies of, so they're just giving them out. Now, my shop, the shop that I'm speaking about, New England Comics, they try to have kind of a fairness policy so that everybody gets a chance. That's why they do the back issues along with the actual books. So they say that, you can only have 2 of the new books a piece, and then they give you 2 bonus books, which are 2 back issue books. So starting off with the books that we got, because I went with my wife, so she picked up 2 books, I picked up 2 books. So we kind of, cheated the system, I guess you can look at it in that way. But they're free, so it's not hurting anybody, and there's still plenty left. But been saying that without saying that. So we have Exo Manowar. I really like the author they have going on with this book. I picked up issue #1, and I was actually really surprised to see how strong and of a art and just how big of a production that they're doing over at Valiant to try to sit there and make themselves into something more viable, into something that people want to read. So I feel like that was kind of something that was missing in the 90s, even though some of the people that worked at Valiant back in the day are people that were, are famous now in the industry, and that became big players in the industry. And at the time, even some were, like Jim Shooter was, involved with them as well, along with Jimmy Palmiotti and also Joe Quesada. So, at the time, I think Jimmy and Joe weren't fully established, but now Joe Quesada, pretty much is, I don't know if he's editor-in-chief at Marvel, but he's definitely high up in Marvel. And, Jimmy Palmiotti has been a part of some really big series, including, Harley Quinn and kind of just the really reinvention of that character and making her into just this, really fun book along with his wife Amanda Connor. So, they had some firepower back in the day, it just wasn't, I guess it wasn't cultivated and not done as well as, and as nice looking as this stuff. So, I would say, if you're looking for something a little different within the character that you might know, you might not know, give some of this Valiant stuff a shot, because they're really, really trying hard to get you in there. So check them out. Next up, we have the Free Comic Book Day Companion of Secret Empire. So I have to read this because it's a little tie-in. You can't go wrong with free, just to kind of get yourself that background on the story. Next, we have, I think this is kind of just a collection edition, but I saw this and I was like, you know what, I don't own any Simpson comics. And, Simpsons is a series that I grew up from the time I was a little kid watching, and I just figured, you know what, why not? Why not just take a shot? It's free, go get it. Unfortunately for that, I had to go ahead and put back the Legend of Zelda comic, but the thing is, I've seen the Legend of Zelda comic before, because it's it contains, I guess, parts of A Link to the Past, which I remember reading that back in the old Nintendo Power magazines back in the day. So that's ultimately why I put that back and picked up this. But next we have another book, and this cover is really awesome, and that is Lady Mechanica. Not a series that I'm really familiar with. I just really like this cover. I think this cover is really cool. The person to talk to about Lady Mechanica, or to listen to about Lady Mechanica, if you have any questions or want to hear recommendations and stuff, there's two people I would recommend to you. That's Rob Wiseguy82 and Merc with a Mouth. They both, know this. They know this character. They really like these books, especially Merc. Merc, is all about Lady Mechanica. So if you need a little background on the character, or you just want a good recommendation, hit them up. They'll be able to let you know what's going on. So now we have a couple back issues that, just they give out for free as bonus books. So, first one I picked up was Iron Man. This is Iron Man #1 from the 90s. This is 96, so this is, I think, is The Heroes Reborn. And this is the variant. So I have the regular #1. And I was like, you know what, let me check out this variant. So, pick this up. Next, we have kind of a filler here. This is Uncanny X-Men #303. Last year they gave out, I think it was 302. It was a Colossus cover, so, for free. I'm not going to, say no to that. Next we have a book that is kind of cool. It's actually a first appearance, which is really cool for free. Really cool Adams cover. So this is the X-Men Annual #10. This is the, so this is, has an appearance of Longshot. This is when he, I guess, joins the X-Men. And on top of that, it's the first appearance of the X-Babies. So really cool. And then you get that, homage cover back to the, giant-sized X-Men. But, I have no problem picking this up for free. It's just kind of chilling in the box. And I was like, you know what, I already have one, and it's signed by Art Adams. So, maybe I'll bring it to Boston Comic Con and have him sign this one too. Don't know. We'll see. And then lastly, we have a book that literally I'm making it a mission to pick this up every year, because for whatever reason my shop keeps putting these out, and I have no problem with them. Like, it's a book that I love and I grew up with, and really it just started me on the path of what I went on to collect for a long time. And so the funny part about this book is how some people are actually starting to pay money for it here and there. And I don't mean like tons of money, but you're overpaying if you're paying more than $1 for this book. So that book is none other than X-Men #1. Now, this book came out with multiple printings and, multiple variants and all this different stuff. This is just, one of the covers that came out for it. Basically, it's a wraparound cover. There's one that has a wraparound cover of everything. One has Magneto, one has Wolverine and Cyclops. Next one has Beast, Storm, and Jean Grey and Professor X. And there's Gambit, Psylocke, and Colossus. It's just like this big crazy cover that has all this stuff going on, and I also forgot Archangel on there as well. And you know, it's just funny, man. It's just like I've seen that people have been paying upwards of like $5 for this. No, like literally no. I'll you'll never catch me paying $5 for this. I might have paid $5 back in the day when I was a little kid, but that makes sense because you know that's you know back when you know everybody was into it. We're talking about you know I got this book when I was about I think 10 years old. So you're talking about, you know, 1992 or so, you know? But yeah, like, my shop puts these out, because I got one of these, I think I got the Wolverine, it's either the Magneto cover or the Wolverine and Cyclops cover last year. So every time they put this out, I will pick this up for free. And, you know, like I said, I think I have like 3 or 4 of these by now. Maybe not the specific cover, but I have like 3 or 4 of the actual book itself. So yeah, I don't know if other shops are giving them out, but like, I mean, this comic has 6 million copies sold, right? So don't pay money more than $1 for this thing. That's the only you know that's the one and only thing I can give you as far as advice is concerned. You know, unless it's autographed and graded and all the rest, then maybe I can see paying a little bit more for it. But I wouldn't really go to town because it's just like I said. Tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of copies exist, which means, you know, they've probably been signed. You probably have, I would say, upwards of maybe 1 million of those things have been signed at some point. So, I don't know. Just, like I said, if you see it for free, pick it up, but don't pay any more than $1 for this book. Okay? That's my only word of wisdom. So, anyway, that's my haul. That's my haul. That's what I picked up. And thank you for listening to my rant. Really, really quick, I went out to see Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2 today. Really good movie. You know, I understand how some people go, well, you know, the first one is always going to be better than the second one. And, you know, there's always going to be something a little bit off from the second to the, you know. No. It was good. It was a good movie. You know, I don't see any problem with, you know, what happened, what went down. You know, good movie. And, you know, you should definitely go see it. You'll enjoy it. There really weren't too many unenjoyable parts of it. Was the first one better? I guess because this, you know, expectations were low. If you go with high expectations, of course, you know, you'd be a little bit let down here and there because the first one was such a big sleeper. But it's still a good movie. And you know what? I had fun watching it. I would watch it again. And that's not me trying to be, you know, a fanboy. That's just saying it was a good movie and it's worth watching. So go check it out. Last but not least, I have one other thing that I got in the mail. This was a book that I actually kind of wanted, and I was able to pick up from Mike Seif, or Mike Seif. I don't know exactly how you say his last name. He's active in a lot of the Facebook groups, Comicbook Fanatics, all about comics, and also the New York Warriors. So he was having some books for sale, and this is a book I wanted to pick up. It was a good price, so I was like, you know what, I'll take that. Yeah, definitely. And that is DMC #1. So DMC, yes, the rapper. Run Darren McDaniels from Run DMC put out a comic book. And, you know, being the hip-hop fan that I am, I remember when the book was first being promoted, he came to Boston Comic Con. I actually got to meet him and talk with him and everything. Super cool guy. You know, such a fun presence to be around. And, you know, I just didn't have the time, you know, or the money at that moment to kind of get the book. But now I finally have it. Happy to have it in my collection, both as a hip-hop fan and also just as a fan of comics. So, pretty cool stuff. You know, really, really good art. And, you know, a lot of really cool pinups inside. Especially a lot of homage covers to various comics from both DC and from Marvel from back in the day and everything like that. So, you know, definitely cool. Thank you again, Mike, for hooking me up with that. That's really, really awesome of you. So, with that, if you're looking, you know, keep an eye out because he always posts up different books that he's trying to sell and everything like that. He packages them great. And just, you know, I can't say enough good things about him. So thank you again, Mike. Again, that's been my haul. So I want to thank everybody for watching. Again, this has been Buckshot33, a.k.a. Boston Chris. I'm out. Have a good weekend. And everybody, I hope that your free comic day was awesome. Alright, I'm out of here. Take it easy. Have a good night.